mound. Hello, welcome to Healing Sleep Stories. My name is Mushroom. I am a storyteller, and it is an honor to be the voice you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Okay, let's start the relaxation part. It will take just a few minutes before we step into tonight's story. This is your space to let go, your space to rest. So, take a slow breath in. And exhale gently, like you're blowing out the birthday candles you forgot to make a wish on. Notice your body soften as you breathe, almost like it's been waiting for this exact moment. The chair, the bed, or the pillow underneath you has officially volunteered as your personal cloud, and it's not going to let you down, literally. Let your shoulders drop, let your jaw loosen. You don't need to hold the world right now. Someone else can babysit gravity for a while. Now, let's walk through the door together into a story that will soothe your soul, lift you gently beyond earth, and lull you into a drifting star-lit sleep. You begin with the earth beneath you, soft and steady, like a parent who has always been quietly standing in the background, arms open if you ever stumble. You can almost feel the soil beneath your feet, even if you're not standing on it right now. The coolness, the slight crunch of tiny stones, the way the air above it carries the faintest smell of moss and rain. Every breath you take feels like you are inhaling part of this earth, like it's loaning you its calmness so that your chest can rise and fall more easily. You let your body sink deeper, as though the mattress or couch beneath you has turned into the forest floor itself. The ground is patient. It doesn't hurry. It doesn't complain. It doesn't even remind you about that time you killed a houseplant in under 2 weeks. It just holds you. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you imagine rivers, clear, smooth ribbons of water winding through valleys. Their sound is the language of relax. The hush of flow, the chuckle of tiny rapids over smooth rocks. You imagine dipping your hands into one of those rivers, cool, clean, and for some reason, you're not worried about the bacteria or whether it's safe to drink. This is dream water. It's the kind of water that feels like it could wash away even the thought of stress. The forest around you grows vivid as you settle deeper. You can picture trees, tall, impossibly tall, like ancient guardians. Their trunks are rough but steady, and their leaves whisper secrets to each other in the breeze. Maybe they're gossiping about squirrels, or maybe they're telling you to relax already. You smile slightly, because it feels like you're in on the joke. As you breathe out, you imagine yourself lying down on a patch of soft grass. The blades bend underneath your body like they've been waiting for you. Above you, the sky is a slow watercolor, fading from gold into deep indigo. Somewhere far away, a bird sings its last call of the evening, as if it too is clocking out for the night. And you remember You are part of this earth. Your bones carry minerals that were once mountains. The iron in your blood is the same iron that burned in stars billions of years ago. You are literally, scientifically, a piece of this place. Historians still debate whether ancient civilizations truly understood that connection, or if it's just us projecting modern science onto them. But you know in your body that there's truth here. You belong. A thought drifts into your mind about the Great Fire of London in 1666. Not exactly bedtime material, you think. But wait, imagine this. The city, quiet at first, then ablaze, thousands fleeing, and somehow, from the ashes, a new London emerged. People rebuilt, brick by brick, stronger than before. Strange how the earth, too, always allows rebuilding. It takes the fires, the storms, the mistakes, and still holds steady for another beginning. There's comfort in knowing even chaos can become foundation on. The grass tickles your arm. You shift slightly, sinking deeper, and you realize you're not just lying on the earth, you're being absorbed into its rhythm. The slow pulse beneath the soil matches your breath. The earth is like that friend who doesn't talk much, but when they do, they drop the most calming one-liners. Tonight, it's whispering, "You are safe. You are resting. You are mine, and I will hold you steady." You remember reading once about giant redwoods in California, trees so massive that cars can literally drive through their hollowed trunks. Imagine being one of those trees, standing in the same place for thousands of years, watching humans bumble about, inventing things like TikTok dances and cheese in a spray can. The trees must be laughing, shaking their leafy heads. And here you are, a tiny human, borrowing a fraction of their stillness. You roll that thought around in your mind, letting it slow you down. The humor makes you smile, but the stillness of the redwoods makes you heavy, pleasantly heavy, like gravity itself is tucking you in. Your body knows it's okay to release now. You unclench muscles you didn't even realize were clenched. Your forehead, your stomach, your toes. Each exhale is a gift to the earth, and each inhale is the earth's reply, saying, "I got you." And in that exchange, you feel the first hints of something bigger stirring. The earth beneath you isn't just a patch of soil, it's a launching pad. You can sense it, even if you can't explain it. The roots of trees are holding on to you like friends who don't want you to leave the party yet, but at the same time, there's an invitation in the air. When you're ready, you can rise, but for now, you stay grounded. The fireflies flicker in the meadow nearby, their little lights reminding you of stars you'll one day drift toward. The moon edges higher, patient and glowing, and the breeze strokes your skin like a lullaby. You chuckle quietly. Maybe you're not just lying in a forest. Maybe you're lying in the earth's waiting room, and the receptionist is the wind, flipping through your chart. Patient seems stressed. Prescription: one night of deep cosmic sleep. You know what? For once, you'll follow the doctor's orders. So you stay here in this grounded, safe, heavy moment, feeling the earth cradle you, steady you, preparing you, letting you remember that before you drift anywhere higher, you must first rest in the place you came from, because every journey to the stars begins here, on the calm, forgiving, quiet ground of earth. The weight of the earth still hums beneath you, but something inside you is shifting. You notice it first in your chest, the way each breath feels less like you're pulling in air and more like you're being gently lifted, as though invisible strings are tugging you upward with every inhale. You aren't rushing. There's no dramatic rocket blast off here. Just a soft, slow unbuttoning of gravity. You feel the earth's embrace loosening, like a mother gently letting go of a child's hand as they take their first wobbly steps alone. The ground still whispers, you can always return, but you know, tonight you're meant to drift higher. Above you, the sky has thickened into twilight. Clouds gather like plush pillows, layered and endless. You begin to rise toward them, not by force, but by invitation. Your body feels lighter, as though someone secretly swapped out your bones for feathers when you weren't paying attention. The air becomes cooler, hang across your skin with a crisp tenderness, like silk sheets pulled straight from the dryer. As you ascend, you hear the muted hush of the earth fading beneath you. The forest's whispers quiet, the river's chuckle softens. The sounds are still there, but distant now, like background music fading into another room. Instead, a new chorus greets you, the sky itself buzzing with invisible energy. You can almost hear the clouds gossiping. Who's this floating traveler sneaking into our lounge? One cloud, puffy and pink at the edges, lets you sink into it like a couch in the world's coziest waiting room. You sit there, looking out over the horizon. The last blush of sunset is still clinging on stubbornly, painting streaks of orange and lavender across the vast canvas above. You think to yourself, if this were a painting, you'd frame it, but you'd never capture the smell, the mix of ozone, damp mist, and something faintly sweet, like a memory of flowers carried up from the ground below. In this half-dream state, you recall something odd you once read. Clouds aren't light at all. A single fluffy cloud can weigh over 1,000,000 pounds. That's like carrying 200,000 elephants overhead. You laugh at the absurdity. You're lying in one, sinking into it, and it feels like cotton candy. Meanwhile, science is in the background, waving frantically, shouting, actually, that's a waterlogged behemoth crushing the air beneath it. Dream logic wins tonight. You don't care if your pillow weighs as much as an entire circus. The breeze pushes you gently upward again, and you slip off the cloud like a sleepy passenger changing trains. Higher and higher you float until the horizon begins to curve beneath you. You're beginning to see it, the arc of the earth itself, like a massive marble glowing softly in the fading sun. It reminds you of old sailors and navigators who once looked up at this same sky, charting stars to figure out where the heck they were. You picture Polynesian voyagers steering their canoes across the Pacific, using nothing but the tilt of constellations. Historians still debate whether some of those early crossings were intentional or just very brave accidents. Either way, you imagine those sailors lying back on their boats, watching the stars, probably wishing for the same thing you're wishing for now. Peace, direction, maybe a soft pillow. As you drift higher, the clouds thin, and you pass into the quiet band where birds stop flying and only airplanes dare. You think briefly of those cramped flights where your knees end up in your chin, and the only entertainment is a tiny glowing screen showing you how many hours you still have to suffer. But this is nothing like that. No turbulence, no crying babies, no mystery chicken or fish meal. Just the silence of altitude wrapping you in stillness. You notice how colors change here. Below, earth was greens and browns and golds. Inside the clouds, it was all soft whites and pinks. But up here, the blend begins to deepen, darkening into a royal navy, the kind of color that seems endless. Each blink reveals a shade richer than the last. The air grows cooler, but instead of chilling you, it folds around you like the perfect weighted blanket, comforting, secure. You tilt your head back, and stars begin to wink at you. Not many yet, just a few, like shy actors peeking out before the curtain rises. They remind you of something funny. Back in 1990, when astronauts on the Space Shuttle Discovery first wore corrective lenses in orbit, they joked about finally being able to see the stars clearly without squinting. Imagine floating in space and realizing your biggest problem is basically forgetting your glasses. Somehow, that makes the stars feel friendlier, more human. And now, as you drift just above the highest wisps of atmosphere, the clouds beneath you look like an ocean frozen in place. Their tops are silvery in the moonlight, endless waves suspended mid-crest. You imagine stepping across them as if they were solid. Each puff, a trampoline bouncing you softly upward. There's a moment where you almost feel caught between worlds. The earth is still there, its blues and greens glowing faintly, but above you, the velvet dark pulls like a promise. You are lighter now, your body untethered, your thoughts stretching thin, dissolving into mist. You chuckle at the absurdity of it all. If someone walked in right now and saw you lying in bed, they'd just think you were asleep. They wouldn't know that in your mind, you've already ascended through the clouds, waved at a 1,000,000-pound puffball, and traded jokes with ancient sailors. That's the secret of sleep journeys. They look ordinary from the outside, but inside, they're pure magic. And just when you think you can't rise any higher, you feel the atmosphere thinning further, like a curtain slowly lifting. The air grows silent. Your breath is steady, slow, soft. And in that moment, you realize you are leaving the earth's sky behind. The stars are waiting. The silence greets you first. It's not the kind of silence you hear when a room goes still, when a conversation drops. This is thicker, almost alive, a silence that doesn't need to prove itself. It stretches endlessly, the sound of nothing wrapping around you like a weighted quilt. At first, it's startling. You expect noise, vibration, some kind of cosmic background music. Instead, it's as if the universe leans in and whispers, "Shh." You are floating now, caught between the fading blue of Earth's sky below and the velvet curtain of space above. You're in the in-between, that strange liminal hallway where neither world fully claims you. The clouds look impossibly far beneath you now, glowing faintly like crumpled sheets of silver. Above, the stars sharpen into focus, crisp points of light, as if someone just remembered to turn them on. You drift slowly, not falling, not climbing, just suspended. The air, or what used to be air, no longer rests you. Your body is free from its usual negotiations with gravity. You stretch a hand out, and though nothing touches you back, you can almost imagine the particles of stardust brushing your fingertips like powdered sugar. Somewhere to your left, a streak of color flashes across the void. An aurora. You'd think auroras only belong near the poles, but up here they ripple more freely, weaving across space like ribbons of neon silk. Green folds into purple, purple into pink. It's like the cosmos decided to host a rave, and for once, you're on the VIP list. You laugh softly at the thought. You, a lone human, floating in pajamas, watching the universe's personal light show. And with that laughter comes a sense of ease, the kind you only feel when you've realized you're not in charge of anything anymore. The aurora hums silently above you, dancing without waiting for your permission. And then you spot it, a tiny, man-made thing sliding quietly across the stars. A satellite, blinking faintly, tumbling around Earth like a toy someone forgot to put away. You wonder what it's transmitting right now. Weather reports, television reruns, someone's GPS directions to the nearest Taco Bell. For a moment, you imagine the satellite noticing you, like, "Hey, are you supposed to be here?" But then it spins on, indifferent, just another wanderer caught in orbit. The presence of that machine sparks a thought. Humans have always looked upward, always tried to reach what seems unreachable. You think of Galileo in the 1600s, squinting through his telescope in Venice, sketching Jupiter's moons night after night. Historians still debate whether he actually saw Saturn's rings clearly, or if his lens just made them look like ears. Imagine him furiously scribbling, "It's got ears," while the universe sat there laughing, waiting for humanity to catch up. Oddly, the fact comforts you. Even the greatest minds stared up at the stars and misinterpreted what they saw. Tonight, you don't need to, you just need to drift. The auroras fade into soft ribbons, and a new light catches your attention. It's faint at first, like a smudge on glass, but then you realize it's the Milky Way itself, an ocean of stars stretching endlessly. From Earth, it looked like a pale streak, but from here, it's a highway of brilliance, each star sharp, each one insisting it matters. You float into it, letting the starlight wrap around you. Your body is weightless, but your heart feels anchored, oddly steady. The sensation is like being in a giant cathedral, but instead of stained glass and incense, it's cosmic dust and silence. You half expect someone to hand you a program. Tonight's performance, billions of suns, conducted by gravity. There's a humor in this, too. Somewhere down on Earth, people are scrolling through their phones, arguing about who unfollowed whom on Instagram, and meanwhile, this infinite, glowing sprawl, burning billions of miles away, carrying stories older than Han language. And then, like a whisper, another memory surfaces, an odd fact. Did you know the sound of space, when converted from radio waves, sometimes resembles eerie whale songs? NASA once recorded the plasma waves around Jupiter, and when translated, it sounded like a haunted ocean choir. Imagine that, space whales, crooning lullabies across light years. For a moment, you tilt your ear as if you might catch it yourself. The ghostly hum of a universe singing in the dark. The silence between notes grows thick again, and you realize this in-between space isn't empty, it's alive. The stars around you pulse faintly, like distant heartbeats. The auroras dissolve, but their glow lingers on your skin. The satellite is gone, but its tiny blinking presence stays with you. A reminder that you're not the first human to drift this far, not even in dreams. You exhale, and your breath seems to dissolve before it even leaves your lips. Nothing carries here, nothing lingers, except you. And yet, even, thought loosens as your body softens further. You are no longer clinging to Earth, no longer racing toward the stars. You are the space in between, suspended, timeless. Your thoughts grow slower, fuzzier, blending with the velvet dark. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you joke with yourself, well, this beats sitting in traffic. The silence almost laughs back, and so you drift, held not by ground or sky, but by the vastness of what lies between. Not falling, not climbing, just floating in the perfect hush of space, your body and mind dissolving into the quietest dream. The silence stretches, but it isn't empty anymore. It's textured, like velvet spread out under starlight. The darkness ahead of you begins to flicker, not with one star or two, but with entire constellations waking up, like stage lights coming on in a theater. Each one sharp, each one brilliant, each one carrying a story that humans have been retelling for thousands of years. You drift closer, as if the stars themselves have extended a hand to you. One constellation, Orion, blazes brightest. You recognize his belt instantly, 3 stars in a neat little row. They glow with the kind of confidence that only comes from being recognized universally. Across centuries, across cultures, across hemispheres, those 3 stars have been the GPS of human imagination. Sailors steered by them, poets wrote under them, kids with cheap telescopes aimed for them on clear nights. And here you are, floating right past Orion's shoulder. You half expect him to turn his head, nodding like a doorman at some exclusive club. Welcome, traveler. Don't mind the arrows, just passing through. The funny thing about constellations is how much imagination is required. From Earth, people connected the dots and saw hunters, lions, dragons. Up here, though, it looks more like glitter tossed across an endless floor. You laugh softly to yourself. Humans will turn anything into a story, even random pinpricks of light billions of miles apart. Historians still debate whether ancient cultures borrowed constellation patterns from each other or invented them separately. Either way, it says something about the human brain, always drawing lines, always finding meaning, even in chaos. As you drift further, Cassiopeia appears, 5 stars bent into a crooked W. She was a queen in myth, punished for bragging too much about her beauty. You imagine her rolling her eyes across the centuries, muttering, "Okay, but they're still telling my story, aren't they?" She might You've lost her throne, but she got eternal branding in the night sky. Honestly, not a bad PR move. The stars glow brighter the longer you linger. It's as if they're aware of your presence, showing off just a little. You glide between them, weightless, brushing past their faint halos. And then it hits you. The light touching your skin left its star hundreds, thousands, even millions of years ago. You're not just basking in starlight, you're catching ancient postcards, traveling across time. You grin at the thought. Imagine some star 10,000 years ago, flickering slightly, and now, only now, that light has finally arrived to illuminate your drifting body. Somewhere, a sun collapsed, a galaxy spun, and you're the accidental audience. You chuckle. Cosmic Amazon Prime really does take a while to deliver. But not all stars are ancient. Some are still young, barely out of their cosmic nurseries. You drift into a patch of glowing nebula where clouds of gas swirl in pinks and blues, birthing sun like a nursery rocking newborns. The colors wrap around you like stained glass suspended in the void. You can almost smell them, not really, but in that dream sense, like warm dust and electric ozone. And then you remember an odd fact. Some nebulae are so vast that if you were traveling at the speed of light, it could take years just to cross one. Think about that. Entire lifetimes, and you'd still be inside the same cosmic cloud. You float now, marveling that here in your dream journey, you pass through it in the span of a breath. The nebula glows, shifting, until you glimpse something that looks like a face, then dissolves again. Humans always see faces, even where they don't exist. Clouds, toast, Mars. It's called pareidolia, the brain's favorite party trick. You laugh, imagining aliens peering back at Earth and thinking, is that a dog in the clouds? Do humans worship golden retrievers? Well, maybe they're not entirely wrong. The nebula fades behind you, and the stars grow sharper again. You notice they're not silent at all. They shimmer, not with sound your ears can catch, but with vibrations you can almost feel on your skin. Tiny hums, little pulses, like each one is playing its own note in a galactic orchestra. Together, they weave a harmony so enormous you can't quite grasp it, but your body understands. Your muscles loosen further. Your chest feels lighter. You are becoming part of that music. You tilt your head, and there's the Big Dipper, bright and obvious. It points toward Polaris, the North Star, the anchor of countless journeys. You think of runaway slaves in 19th century America following Polaris northward to freedom. The thought fills you with awe. Stars weren't just pretty, they were survival, hope, maps written across the heavens. You whisper a thank you, not sure to whom, to the sky, to the people who trusted it, to the courage that looked upward and kept walking. The constellations whirl slowly as you drift deeper. You realize their stories paint on an ever-shifting canvas. Stories that kept people awake around fires long before Netflix. Each culture wrote their own myths into these stars. And here you are, floating among them, realizing they're all true. Not because the stars are hunters or queens, but because the stories themselves shaped humanity. And you smile again, sleepy, because now you're writing your own. Not in books, not in songs, but here in the quiet of your mind, as you glide through constellations that are older than memory. The stars keep glowing, whispering, playing their music, and you, soft, weightless, smiling, let yourself drift deeper into their story. The constellations drift behind you, their glowing lines unraveling into pure starlight. You are moving now, no longer just floating among familiar shapes, but being drawn deeper into something vaster. Ahead, the night thickens into a river of light, the Milky Way stretching out like a jeweled highway. It's not just a streak anymore, not from here. It's billions of suns spilling across eternity, so bright it feels like the universe left the porch light on just for you. You glide into that river, weightless, the light wrapping around you like silk ribbons. Each star flickers differently, some white and sharp, some golden and warm, some red and ancient, pulsing slowly as if counting the heartbeat of time itself. They don't overwhelm you. Instead, they cradle you, like you've stumbled into the world's most extravagant sleepover, hosted by galaxies. Your body begins to dissolve into that brilliance. First, your fingertips shimmer, breaking in to dust. Then your arms, your chest, until it's as though you're scattering across the cosmos. It's not frightening. It's liberating. You're no longer a small shape drifting through space. You are becoming part of it. The galaxy doesn't just surround you, it welcomes you, folds you into its spinning embrace. Somewhere within that embrace, a flash of memory surfaces. An odd fact: the atoms in your body, the calcium in your bones, the carbon in your skin, the iron in your blood, they were all forged in the cores of dying stars. Literally, every piece of you is recycled starlight. You chuckle softly even as you dissolve further. So basically, you murmur in your mind, I'm just the universe's glittercraft project. And the stars seem to laugh with you. Their light brightens, a playful twinkle here and there, as if they approve of the joke. The pull of the galaxy grows stronger. You glide past clusters that look like fireworks frozen mid-burst. You spin slowly through spiral arms so vast they could cradle millions of Earths. The sense of scale is ridiculous, almost comedic. You think about how humans argue about the size of apartments or who gets the bigger slice of pizza, while out here, stars casually sprawl across light years, not even noticing. Your thoughts drift to history again. You remember the first photograph of Earth taken from space in 1968 during the Apollo 8 mission. Earthrise. The astronauts described it as breathtaking, the whole planet rising above the lunar horizon like a delicate marble. Historians still debate whether that single image marked the true beginning of global environmental awareness. But for you, right now, it's proof of something else. You belong to this cosmos. Earth was never just your home, it was your stepping stone. The stars grow brighter until they're no longer dots but waves of light. You're immersed completely, like a diver plunging into a luminous ocean. You can't tell where you end and where they begin. Your body is gone. Our breath is gone. And yet, somehow, you've never felt more whole. It is in this shimmering surrender that peace finds you. Every worry, every small knot of tension dissolves like sugar in warm tea. The galaxy whispers, you don't have to hold it all. We've been holding it for billions of years. Rest. And so you do. Your mind stretches wider than it's ever been, but it's not racing anymore. It's drifting, quiet, like a lantern released onto a river. Somewhere in that stillness, you imagine laughter, your own from earlier, the way you joked with clouds and constellations. It lingers here, softened, folded into the music of stars. You realize the cosmos is not solemn. It's playful, joyous. a stage for both wonder and humor. And as you merge fully into the brilliance, you can't help but smile one last time. Because in this place, this endless ocean of light, you are not small, not lost. You are exactly where you were always meant to be, one with the stars, cradled in their eternal glow, asleep in their boundless arms. You let go completely, and now, as the journey softens, the galaxy around you blurs. The sharp constellations fade into a gentle haze, like watercolor bleeding across paper. The starlight doesn't vanish, it simply smooths out, becoming softer, quieter, wrapping around you like a second skin. Your breath is slow, steady. Each inhale feels as though it pulls in light itself, and each exhale drifts back out into the cosmos. You are no longer moving, no longer reaching. You are simply resting, floating in a sea that has no edges, no limits, no need for effort. The stars, once so bright and sharp, are now gentle lanterns in the fog. Their music, once grand, is now a lullaby. You can hardly separate where you end and they begin. You are dust, you are light, you are silence, you are peace. And here, in this soft blur, you find the deepest sleep. Nothing presses against you, nothing asks of you. Time dissolves, space dissolves, even thought itself unravels. What remains is only rest, the pure, effortless surrender of being held by the universe itself. So let yourself sink deeper into this softness. Let yourself become the stillness. Let yourself dream without edges, without weight, without care. And as you drift, remember, the earth still holds you, the stars still welcome you, and the galaxy still carries you in its arms. All is well. You are safe. You are home. Good night.